They started to lose players. They lost Corey Coleman earlier, former #1 draft pick. They brought Des Bryant in. They didn't sign anyone. Josh Gordon, they had to be able to let him go. They do not have strong enough playmakers to be able to support their young quarterback, and I believe that teams have caught up to their offense, traded away Carlos Hyde last week. They don't have enough offensive weapons to be trading away people. So for me, if they had another wide receiver, like the way their wide receiving room was 2 months ago, 3 months ago, then I believe it would support the quarterback. They need to stay exactly where they are, at least until the end of the season. You accomplish nothing by firing the coach this early in the season when you've seen so much improvement in so many of the young players.
Can you guys explain play calling to me? Who should be calling plays? Is it whoever the quarterback feels most comfortable with? Is it who has the most offensive history,
listen,
success?
They brought it, if you're not going to let Todd Haley call plays, then why'd you bring him in 6 months ago? John Dorsey brought in Todd Haley to call plays, and I think he brought him in case they do fire Hugh Jackson, that they have an interim coach who's been a head coach before. They had Greg Williams there already, but given Greg Williams' history with the NFLC, I don't think they can make him even interim head coach. But I'm not acting like Todd Haley hasn't had some curious decisions. Before they traded away Carlos Hyde, seemed to not want to give the ball to Nick Chubb. There are things that you can criticize, but he was hired to do a job, the job he's done best in his NFL career. I would be surprised if they didn't let him do that job.
All right, let's talk a little Chiefs now. They improved to 7-1, beating the Broncos 30-23. Pat Mahomes, another great afternoon, threw 303 yards, 4 touchdowns. Pat Mahomes now has 26 touchdowns in 8 games this year. He's just having an just don't ask Mangini, but he's having an unbelievable year. What did you take away from the Chiefs win yesterday?
This is the 3rd time, they've played the Broncos since Pat Mahomes took over started. They played them in Week 17 last year, and people say, oh, Broncos rested their starters. No, they didn't. Von Miller was out there. Their starting defense was out there. He played well in that game. And then the Broncos with a little film on him. The worst game of his career until the comeback was against the Broncos. For him to 4 touchdowns, 1 bad pick, and that was it. In a game the Chiefs fell down 7-0 early in and then ripped off a 30-7 run in the next 30 minutes. I thought it was impressive, but the story to me of the game was not Pat Mahomes as much as it was, his embarrassment of riches around him. Sammy Watkins had a big day yesterday. He's now the 4th different skill position guy to be their leading scorer, leading yardage guy on the season already.
If you look at Kareem Hunt, not very, very productive. A couple explosive plays. If you look at Tyreek Hill, only targeted 4 times, 1 explosive play, but the fear he puts into the defense. So when Patty Mahomes is able to, we know what they're going to double team Kelsey week in and week out. And you start seeing him find other players, and that being Sammy Watkins, finally having that big breakout game with over 100 yards. I liked his ability to be able to run with the ball after the catch because you don't have to drop back and throw the ball 40 yards down the field. So I thought that was very, very impressive. And the ability to, knowing you're explosive, to be patient and realize, man, every game is totally different than the other game. I'm not going to try to force the football. Did have a little adversity as far as the interception, him coming back. So I like the consistency. So he's just not, every week trying to come out and win the game in the first quarter.
Right.
You can see the maturity that he's got. Patience, let the game come to him, read the defenses, try to get the ball out of his hand as quick as possible to all the weapons that he has.
How about their defense? Do you trust this defense a little bit? Okay.
No. Dee Ford played well. Dee Ford had 3 sacks. Dee Ford in a contract year is finally, for the first time in his Chiefs career, living up to that first-round draft pick they spent on him 5 years ago. But this rush defense, they're going to play the Rams in what will be one of the most marquee matchups of the season. It's Monday Night Football in Mexico City against 2 teams that at that point might be a combined something like 19-1. But Todd Gurley could have 270 yards in that game. They're the worst rush defense in football. They're allowing 5.5 yards per carry, and you saw it yesterday. The reason that Phillip Lindsay didn't have more than 95 yards is because the Broncos were down big. They thought they had to pass. I don't know the solution to the rush defense for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think the rush defense is going to get that much better, but where they are and where they can be able to negate that is red zone defense and third down defense. In those areas, all they got to do is be average. All they got to do is be in the middle of the pack in the NFL. That'd be good enough for this team. Most critical down in football is third down. The Chiefs have been decent in that. As long as they do that, they'll keep getting great results.
Kansas City Chiefs, 7-1. Not bad. Got to take a very much needed break. Could the Saints be a sleeping giant in the NFC? Next on First Things First.
The Giants.